Ladies and gentlemen, it is January 31st, 2022, and this is FAWMtalk! The skies are clear here in Finland, which of course means that it's minus 18 degrees outside. Luckily, it's already dark and I don't have to go anywhere. I'm of course Juha, and my co-host this time around is Mr. Needs No Introduction, progressive metal Chapman stick aficionado, and UK's foremost authority in espresso machine-made cocoa. Mr. Head First Only, Chris. How are you doing, my friend?
Hello. I am doing good. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. Got a pint of Guinness. Well, it's like almost a pint, but that's what they fit in the can.
Guinness the last time I checked. Yeah. Well, good health to you, and hello out there in YouTube land. I hope you're all ready and fired up for the songwriting challenge that is writing 14 songs in the 28 days of February 2022.
It's gonna be sweet.
It's gonna be good.
And this is, of course, our test stream, so if everything is very much out of whack, please let us know in the chat and in Slack and everywhere else, because I have no idea what I'm doing. But we asked a bunch of people we asked all of you to post some of your songs on the FAWM forum, and a bunch of you posted, thankfully. So we have music lined up. Why don't we go to our first song? All right, so
Let's do that.
We got Brad Brubaker's song called The Late.
That's what they called her, the late. It never happens on time, but it came early in my mind. So don't you dare say it was her fate. And don't you ever say she's the late. You're lost. They say sorry for your loss, like she was something I misplaced or that I let slip away. So don't you dare say sorry for your loss, like she's something I might later come across. Survived. They say she's survived by. Sure, I may have a pulse, but I feel nothing at all. So don't you dare say that I'm alive, 'cause I am not certain I survived.
Brad Brubaker, The Late. It's from FAWM 2021.
That is such a there's a sweetness to it, but there's also such a darkness to it as well that I really respond to.
I like listening to that sort of music. It's there are a lot of well, not a lot, but there's some country acts that really sort of conjure up that sort of same type of feeling, and I really like you said, I really respond to that as well. This is a good pick from Brad, definitely.
Yeah.
So what do you got planned for FAWM? Are you gonna? Have you done FAWM like since you started? Have you won every year?
Oh no. The first, and this. So I mean, if anybody's watching this thinking, oh well, of course he's going to be, roaring ahead and doing hundreds of songs over February. No. The first year that I signed up for FAWM, I was so paralyzed by the fear of saying, well, this is a song I've done, that I didn't submit a single song. So I signed up in 2009. The first time that I posted a song on FAWM was the following year. And it was terrible. And I think I did one song, possibly three. But at that point, once you've thrown something out there and got over that fear, and if you've never done this before, I totally get that there is fear involved. You've just got to dive in and do it. And the next year that I did it, which I think would have been 2012, I won FAWM. I did 14 songs. So it took me 3 years to get there.
Right.
But just try and stop me now. I think last year I did 33 songs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like you have been very prolific there.
And all right, a couple of them were curated, if that's the right word. Wrangled might be a better word, by Dragon Dreams. Hello, Paul, there in the chat, who did the Castle Dragon Dreams house party, which is huge fun. But that boosted my listening. So I think by the end of February last year, if you sat down and listened to all of the stuff that I'd had a hand in, it would take you 2 3/4 hours. You do not have to do that much. Yeah. Believe me.
It's like it's one of those things when you're bit by the bug, you can't stop yourself. You have to like, oh, I could do this, and oh, I could do that, and just keep on going.
And this is the room of a man who is obsessed with making music, as you may have already gathered.
Yeah, but there's also, I think there's also a little bit that goes into that. Like it's not just that you are inherently somehow born into making music. There's like some steps that you have to. I don't necessarily know if you have to take steps to get to that point, but you have to overcome some sort of psychological or these sort of mental obstacles to get to that point where you can just let it all go and just make everything make everything that pops into your head.
Yeah, that is such a good point. And I think part of the problem is that if you're my sort of age, you grew up with this sort of impression of singer-songwriters as these rather fragile, sort of delicate creatures that wafted around and would occasionally get struck by inspiration. And it was that being struck by inspiration that would lead them to go off and cloister themselves in some monastery in Wales and record a 28-minute prog rock epic. Yeah. But what doing FAWM has taught me is no, you don't do that. You just sit down and you do the work.
Yeah, it's like
all it takes.
Like these guys from this Swedish band called ABBA. They're back now. I guess they really missed writing songs, but what they used to do is they just locked themselves into a studio to write songs. It was like a day job for them.
Yeah, it is a job. You put on pants and go to work and write another song. As I seem to remember one of my song's lyrics from last year saying exactly that. Although with lockdown these days, pants are optional. I would remind you, though, I am wearing pants, I have to say.
Yeah, me too. Although you would never know, so... Well,
it can be our secret.
Speaking of Paul, let's go to our second track right away.
Let's do that. The Mighty Dragon Dreams.
So this one is by Dragon Dreams and it's called Just for One More Day. That's Just for One More Day by Dragon Dreams. It was made in 5090 last year, and for people who are here just for FAWM who don't know what 5090 is, it takes place starting July 4th. Takes about 3 months, and you write 50 songs during it. It's very much same crowd as in FAWM, just a little bit more intimate, I'd say.
Yeah, the work rate works out a little bit less pressure than February album writing month, but 5090, because you write 50 songs in the 90 days between July the 4th and October the 1st. I love that track you just played. The guitar tone on that is just cuts like butter. Really, really good. And as Dragon Dream says, I know the man who builds these amplifiers, because Paul builds his own amps. So, and I know several formers out in Formland who now also play Dragon Dreams amplifiers as well.
That is incredible. I love anyone who can make something like that, like an amplifier. I just made an amplifier. How many people can say that?
Yeah, not just made, he designs them as well. So it's Paul sitting down going, what tone do I want? Which this black magic type stuff.
Absolutely.
Arcane knowledge.
I would have no idea where to start.
Yeah. I think Paul probably owns a wizard's hat. I think it has to be said.
Yeah, well, some people, I think there are, well, yeah. Some people are wizards. Nothing more to say about that. I love that sort of, it's got that 80s type of sound where you got those horns in the background. That's just really, really good.
Yeah.
I love that sort of big band. Is it big band or is it like more of a jazz type of horn section?
Yeah, jazz, funk. I mean, why limit yourself to one genre, folks? Experiment, branch out. Last year, was it last year or was it the year before? I discovered a website run by a company called Spitfire Audio. Spitfire Audio do various orchestrally sampled VST plugins, but if you're watching and you have ever thought, I wouldn't mind a VST plugin that let me play with a symphony orchestra, then you might want to go over to Spitfire Audio's website and check out their BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover package, which you can acquire for the princely sum of absolutely nothing at all. It's totally free.
And it sounds good.
It really does. So from just guitar, bass, Chapman sticks, synthesizers, kazoo, theremin, I now do orchestral compositions and I'm loving it to bits. It is so much fun. So if you use a digital audio workstation that handles VSTs, go over to the Spitfire Audio site, find the Discover package for the BBC Symphony Orchestra, and if you scroll down the window, it'll say you can have it right now for $49, 49 quid or 49 euros. But then underneath, there's a little thing that says, or free. And you click on that, you fill in a little questionnaire that says, do you make music using a computer? They're not exactly invasive questions. And you sign up with an account, you download the Spitfire Audio app, and then 14 days after you've completed the questionnaire, your Spitfire Audio app says, you own the BBC Symphony Orchestra. Would you like to install it? At which point you say, yes, please, and start having more fun than a barrel of monkeys. So go out and do it if you haven't already done it.
Yeah, you can really lose yourself in that application. And $50, it's like easily worth $50. But you can just get it for free.
Absolutely it is.
I've been drooling over their Spitfire Symphony Orchestra. It's just even on sale, it's $1,000. It's a little bit out of my budget currently, but I'll get it. One day I'll get it.
Well, there is a dodge to that, because what you do is you install the Discover package for free. And then various times during the year, Spitfire do really good upgrade deals, and they'll email you a message that says, do you fancy upgrading to the next step of the orchestra up for like 40% of its retail price for the upgrade? And it's like, oh, yes, please.
Yeah.
So and you can split that up because there are 3 levels of the orchestra. There's the Discover, which the downloads, I mean, it's insane how they've done it, because the download's only like about 250 megabytes. Then there's the Core, which is considerably bigger, and it's bigger because when you're using a sampler, the way you cut down the sampler files is that every time you press a key, it plays the same sample. But the more expensive samplers do something which, I don't know what you'd call it in Finnish, Juha, but in English it's known as the round robin. And basically what it does is that each time you press the key, it plays a different sample that's slightly different. So it sounds more like a human being playing it than it does just a computer spitting a WAV file at you.
Yeah, I absolutely know what you mean. I don't really know if there is a word for that in Finnish. Finnish is like a little bit limited in many vocabularies like that, but Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, if you just play like one sample in electronic music, for example, it's very easy to notice in drum samples. If you play the same snare sample constantly,
Over
the
and
ear,
over again.
yeah, the ear very quickly picks up that it's the same exact sound. But if there's like a slight variation, then it sounds more natural.
Yeah, exactly. I've still got a old ancient Yamaha RX-21 drum kit somewhere in a box down there behind me, and that was, one snare drum sample, one cymbal sample, and one kick drum sample, and it does get dull very, very quickly. But the battery's gone on it now, so every time you switch it on, you get random drum patterns, which is quite interesting, actually.
Not the worst deal there.
Yeah, absolutely not.
All right, well, let's go to some more music.
Let's do that.
We got another track here queued up. It's by Metalfoot, and it's called 1,000 Paper Bells.
1,000 paper balls, a decorated study floor. I would unball them all, but then I would just make more. Inside these crumpled sheaves are thoughts upon these pulpy leaves. Before the evening ends, one of them can I make friends. A 1,000 paper balls with thoughts and lyrics partly done. Once writ on shower walls, yet once expanded, much less fun. Inside these crumpled sheaves are thoughts upon these pulpy leaves. Before the evening ends, with one of them can I make friends. Perhaps a fire of inspiration will come from this discarded perspiration. Is it my own personal desperation that will not permit to give my brain vacation? 1,000 paper balls are added to each moment now. As yet another falls, I'd like to stop, but no, not how. Inside these crumpled sheaves are thoughts upon these pulpy leaves. Before the evening ends, with one of them can I make friends.
I'm sorry, I said the title wrong. It's 1,000 Paper Balls by Mr. Alex Cledge's Metalfoot.
Yeah, I think the acoustic properties of a paper bell would probably be quite limited.
Well, we have those on Christmas trees. But
That's true. That's true.
Anyway.
So everybody's piling in on the chat on YouTube. The gang's all here. Hello, one and all. Lots of very familiar names popping up in the chat. So thanks for tuning in.
Everybody's very excited for FAWM.
Yeah, why not? I am.
Why can't I write songs already?
Yes, come on. Move the time forward. Where's my TARDIS?
If only there was a way to write songs outside of February. Like
Some of us do. Some of us don't know when to quit.
Right. Well, some of us are just here for the community and just for people, those comments and listening to other people's music. It's a lonely affair just doing it outside of these challenges. Of course, you have 50/90, but that's only 3 months.
Yeah. But if you're a writer, there's always NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month in November, which I haven't done for about 5 years, but I used to get just as obsessed with that.
Yeah. Oh, I did it last year. I wrote
Yeah.
some stuff for this game that we're making. It's an adventure game, 70s spy adventure. I just wrote 25,000 words of dialogue for the game, which
As
is
one does.
it's
Wow.
like writing a novel is one thing. It's pretty quick in comparison. I 1 year I wrote 100,000 words, but like writing for a game when you have to think about all the mechanics in the meantime, it takes a long time. And now for FAWM, I'm doing music for the game. So
Oh, cool. Cool.
I guess we're really committed in finishing this product.
So when's it likely to be released? Can you reveal what its name is?
It's called Split Town. It's gonna be released hopefully this year, but I'm not optimistic enough to just say like, yeah, it's definitely gonna be this year. We started it 5 years ago, and we were like, yeah, it's gonna be released the same year. No. But I'm not worried. I'm not daunted, because the pauses have done a lot of good for the project. When you take a pause and you just forget everything you know about it and then come back, it's just every time we have come back from a hiatus, it's been like the score of the game went from 7 to 8 and then from 8 to 9, and in our minds at least. But it's like,
That's good. You're making progress, though.
yeah, it's getting there. It's starting to feel more like a game. But
Excellent.
but so for FAWM, I don't know. It's you're making some sort of progressive stuff. Do you have any plans for FAWM this year?
Nope, I haven't. This is one of the things that I really love about FAWM. Is part of the challenge is literally coming in here and sitting down and going, right, what am I going to do? And literally starting from scratch. I read a lot, and there are a couple. I've got a little notebook full of potential song titles, and one of the magazines that I read on a regular basis is called the Fortean Times. So it's very much about sort of Bigfoot and UFOs and Sasquatch and haunted houses.
Right.
But they were talking about in the Fortean Times, they were talking about what people used to think fossils were. And it's all about a particular potter in the 18th century who basically made his own school of pottery by sort of including like fossil type designs in the clay.
Oh.
But the reason that I mentioned this in this context is that there was a word that they used, which was used by, before there were archaeologists and paleontologists, people would dig up bones in various parts of the world. And it wasn't until the 18th century that people went, that's actually a dead animal. So in the 18th century, they dug up these massive bones. It turned out that it was what we know now as a mastodon. So a gigantic mammal, a bit like a mammoth, really, weren't they? I believe. But back then, it was called an improbatherium.
Well, that's a name.
It's like, that's a name for it. I'm gonna write a song for that. So that's going to be an instrumental track.
That sounds very much like your track. If somebody told me to guess who wrote a track called Improbabarium, what was it called?
I'll get the magazine.
That's Chris.
Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. I'll get the magazine and look up the actual word. And why don't we listen to another song while I'm doing that?
All right. That sounds good. So the next song is by Opossum, and this one is called I Fell in Love with a Beaver.
I fell in love with a beaver. She was so hairy and baby, she loved wood. I groomed her and I kissed her when she left me, how I missed her. Oh God, I love that beaver so damn good. I used to eat them bullfrogs in the deep, dark swamp. They tasted so damn good, I thought they're all I'd ever want. But I've discovered something new, a thing I can't resist. This beaver is the best thing I have kissed. 'Cause I fell in love with a beaver. She was so bushy and baby, she loved wood. I stroked her and I kissed her when she left me, how I missed her. Oh God, I love that beaver so damn good. We never talked religion or events big or small. Now that I think about it, we never talked at all. But opossums loving beaver, I can't see how that is wrong. Wanna hug her every day and all night long. I fell in love with a beaver. She was so shaggy and baby, she loved wood. I rubbed her and I kissed her when she left me, how I missed her. Oh God, I love that beaver so damn good. But that hairy little beaver went away. No matter what I said, she wouldn't stay. I tried to explain how I felt about that beaver pelt, but she shaved and left for Hollywood today. I fell in love with a beaver. She was so furry and baby, she loved wood. I licked her and I kissed her when she left me, how I missed her. Oh God, I love that beaver so damn good.
I fell in love with a beaver by a possum. What a song.
I love that track. So many double entendres, it's not true.
Indeed.
I beg your indulgence, gentle people. I got the name wrong. So this is the article involved. The potter is called Monsieur Palissy. And yes, it was the Ohio River in 1740. Somebody dug up bones that displayed similarities to an elephant, but with teeth suggesting a carnivorous diet. The backers of the Lewis and Clark transcontinental expedition that set out in 1805 were confident that the incognitium, later known as the Mastodon, would be found alive and well and roaming the prairies of the American West. There's a song in that. And that's the magazine, folks. There is an article in here about precognitive dreams, which it's actually relevant to our interests here because it is written by a certain Mr. Gary Lackman. Anybody remember that name at all? He was one of the founder members of Blondie, and he wrote about his experience of precognitive dreams in a song which is called I'm Always Touched by Your Presence, Dear, which was one of Blondie's first singles.
Right. You talked about this in your stream. I remember now.
I did indeed. Yeah. All about Madame Blavatsky and the Theosophical Society. It's all barking mad.
Man, there really aren't enough intercontinental expeditions anymore.
No, there aren't enough mastodons, frankly, either. Life would be a lot more entertaining if there were more mastodons out there. I have to a shout out to our wonderful colleague. It's Pipe Wrench wrote it, wasn't it? There's a track on the Slothcore album that is called Megatherium. And such a good track. It's 19 minutes long. Do check it out on the Slothcore Republic album on Bandcamp.
Yeah, you really should check out that album. But like with Mastodon, what would you even do with one?
Sausages,
Well, there you
beef
go.
burgers, yeah, Mastodon sandwiches, and chips.
But I think you can do those, and nobody would even know the difference.
No, I wouldn't.
Because there are so many animals you could eat, and so, like, we can't even eat bears in Finland. It's just it's just
This
a
show
travesty.
is going in directions that I hadn't anticipated when we ran the opening credits. I have to say.
Yeah, that's I never anticipate anything because it's not gonna go there.
Expect the unexpected on FAWMcast, folks. For the next month, this is the standard of talk that you're going to be getting.
Oh my
But
lord! And
seriously, if any of you guys out there want to join us and be a guest host and a guest presenter on this show, please let us know, because we would really like to see you on this side of the camera as well. And I know some of you out there already do Zoom and already do streaming, so it's not like it's a new thing that you're going to try and do. So give us a shout if you want to join in. Please do.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And there are people I want to ask back. Like Errol, for an example, was very excited to
yes.
come back.
Yes.
We're gonna have to ask him.
We have to get Mr. Elyamir in. We do. We definitely do.
All right, so next song is by Sheshlin. And it's a song called I'm Waiting.
It's been a long winter. Dark days fill my head with dread, spending too much time online, avoiding the bitter cold outside. I'm waiting for spring to come, muddy rains to wash away the dark for everyone, for life to renew, bursting open in the warm under the sun. Each year it gets harder. The circle goes around like a hound chasing the golden sun away. The sudden loss of light each day. I'm waiting for spring to come, muddy rains to wash away the dark for everyone, for life to renew, bursting open in the warm under the sun. Just a few weeks to go. I will make it, I know, and so I'll embrace the last snow that falls, will enjoy the wonder of it all while waiting for spring to come, muddy rains to wash away the dark for everyone, for life to renew, bursting open in the warmth under the sun.
I'm Waiting by Sheshlin. Wow, what a voice.
Yeah, that is just such a lovely, lovely song. And everybody really, really appreciating that in the chat, which is lovely to see. And the suggestion was Mastodon ribs. And, I think Ryako music, definitely Flintstone size Mastodon ribs is definitely the way to go, I think.
Yeah.
But don't pick it up in the car, because when they put the tray with the Mastodon ribs on, your car will go over like that.
Oh,
We've
my
seen
God.
the Flintstones. We know what happens.
John Goodman.
Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah. Oh my lord.
I love that track. And are we going to reveal who Ray Opossum actually is? Or I think most of the people in the chat have already figured out who it is.
I was like, I have no horse in the race. So.
Maybe we'll leave it as a mystery for that. Maybe we can tease through the course of the shows over the next month.
Sounds good.
It sounds good. Okay, let's do that.
Oh boy. So in past FAWMs, when I've had some sort of plan as to like what I'm gonna do, it's always good. It's always ended up in a disaster. Or more so in 5090, because when you start with a plan in 5090, like the first couple of weeks is all right. It's like going pretty good, but then you just start feeling like I don't want to do this anymore. So, especially in FAWM, I think we talked about this a little bit earlier in the cast, but yeah, like it's a good idea to not have any plans and just I've had the best time in any of these challenges, like 5090 and FAWM, when I have no plans, and when I wake up, I sit down and I'm like maybe listening to some music, maybe listening to other farmers' songs, and when I get an idea like I could do that, then I just start doing it, and it's the car is driving itself. The music just happens, and that's the best kind of inspiration, I think.
Oh yeah, couldn't agree more. That whole process of dropping up into what I think he was Hungarian psychology professor called Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, called flow.
Yeah.
Of that feeling of that state of being so engrossed in what you're doing that it just happens, and time does not appear to pass. But when you come out of it, it's like dark outside, and you've got this amazing piece of music, and you play it back, and you go, "Where did that come from? Is that me?" I love that feeling.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my goal for FAWM, is to try and get so absorbed in what I'm doing that I drop into flow.
But also, what ends up happening is just you're sitting there with the finished piece, feeling like I'm kind of peckish. Like what happened today? Yep.
Eating sort of goes out the window, and that's quite okay. But folks, not that I would condone bringing snacks or beverages into a room like this. Accidents do happen. It's probably best to protect your gear. And I say that as something. So I've got, don't know if you can see it on camera, but I've got a lovely keyboard here, MIDI controller, and Think Space Education's YouTube channel, Guy Mitchell has the same controller, and he does a brilliant set of YouTube videos about music. If you want to know music theory, folks, check out Think Space Education on YouTube, because Guy does the most brilliant quick run through of all of music theory in its entirety in 16 minutes. But Guy gets even more enthusiastic than I do.
No.
And about a month ago, he got a little bit too enthusiastic with a cup of tea in his studio, and it went into the Complete Control S88, which is not good for keyboards. Trust me on this. As a keyboard player, I know hot beverages and keyboards do not go well together.
So I wanted more like a half a cup.
Well, yeah, but even so, I remember many years ago, a friend of mine went on the Today program and spilt a cold drink on the console. But the engineer who was maintaining the studio said, "I only want to know one thing. was there sugar in it? Because apparently putting sugar in your drinks is horrendous because it gunks up all the faders, whereas with most other drinks, they can just dry them out and you're okay.
Yeah, I can see
Which is
that.
another good reason to give up sugar in your cups of tea.
Yeah, just use like one of those maltitol. So I sort of agree, and listening to those stories where somebody spilled like a full bottle of, I don't know, sparkling wine into the PC, it's horrible. It's gut wrenching. But at the same time, I kind of feel like it happens. I'm always going to eat near my equipment, and if I spill something, it happens. I'll just replace the piece of gear. It might cost something, but I want to feel like I live. So.
And you've got to keep your strength up when you're recording anyway. So,
Absolutely, yeah. So
yeah, absolutely. Okay.
got like a fondue. I don't know.
I am now picturing, folks, one of the later episodes of FAWMcast when everything has gone completely nuts by about the third week of February. And I'm going to switch on my video conferencing unit here, and there's going to be Juha sitting at his desk with a fondue set.
Yeah,
or possibly even one. What are they? Raclettes? The big things with the like electric bar fire and half a wheel of cheese that melts off and you scrape in it. Oh now I want a raclette.
And a chocolate fountain.
Oh,
You think this is nuts? It's gonna get like week 3. You just keep on watching, folks. It's gonna get.
You are just going to see two fairly already obsessed musos just their mental and physical states deteriorating. I will have less hair by the end of February. Count on it.
Oh, I'm already hungry. I'm already hungry for those Mastodon steaks. Give me one of those. Anyway, so here's another song, and this is a collaboration.
Yes, let's do another song.
It's by SPH and Stephen Wordsmith. There's a song called Staring Out the Window.
I've been spending so long staring out of my window. I'm starting to think that it's not staring back. Its mind is on things more important than I. And the train of its thought still firm on its track. It's doing a far better job than I. Just holding together, keeping itself in a frame of mind to hold it together, hold it together. I've been spending so long staring out of my window. I'm losing sight of what's on the other side. I made so much effort to not be transparent. I set myself up to keep living a lie. And it's doing a far better job than I. Just holding together, holding together, keeping itself in a frame of mind to hold it together, hold it together, hold it together. been spending so long staring out of my window, pretending the foreground just doesn't exist. And the longer I stare in this grey deck of nothing, the longer the problems become on my list. And it's doing a far better job than I, just holding together, holding together, keeping itself in a frame of mind to hold it together, hold it together, hold it together, hold it together, hold it together.
It's SPH and Stephen Wordsmith staring out the window.
So Stefan and Stephen, what a great double act of names. That's excellent.
I forgot to put on the tag for the song. This is the level of professionalism you can expect from FAWMtalk. Anyway, there it is.
So apropos of nothing, what we were talking about and what triggered loads of fun comments in the chat is ways of cooking with studio equipment, like dropping your sandwich on your transistors or frying an egg on the valves on your valve-powered amplifier. But one of the things that nobody's mentioned, and I actually have one here, which is ancient. Anybody ever see one of these before?
Ooh, Altair.
So this is what we used to use for recording distorted guitar at very, very manageable levels and not alienating the neighbors back in the days before amp modeling.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like one of those. I don't know what it is in English. I know what it is in Finnish, but it's like it eats a bunch of the power of the amplifier and gives you the same sound.
You've got an input at one side and outputs at the other, and the little controls there, so you can have it attenuating by -15 and -30. And I suspect those won't be down. They won't be decibels, but you can't quite see it in there because of the lighting. But basically inside is a toaster. It is quite literally, it's a set of heating coils like one uses in a toaster. You can make toast with one of these. This is what it's actually for. It's rattling, which I suspect means that part of it's come adrift.
No, it's the toast crumbs.
In best Uncle Rick traditions. But yeah, it's wired. There are the switch, the attenuation switch, the pad switch, that bit there. I can actually see cables. So there's a cable that goes to about there and another one that goes to there, and there's another one that goes to there. So it's how much of the toaster actually gets switched on. But mad, that's what we used to use back in the days when I was a young whippersnapper with a Marshall stack and nothing quieter to play through.
Right, I think
that's what we did.
My buddy had one of those. He used to play bass, and just those things can get loud. But in Finnish, it's called something like artificial load. Yeah, that's and that would work in English as well. The guy who invented the Rockman, who was Boston's guitar player, Tom Schultz, did a very, very fancy schmancy one, which he called the Power Soak. But that always made me think of playing the guitar in the bath, and nobody should do that. Well, yeah, you're right. I was gonna think like, but yeah, let's not go there. All right. But yeah, that's interesting. Like, so many pieces of gear, and I'm pretty much doing everything inside the box. if give me a MIDI controller and I can pretty much like I'm a happy camper.
And my goodness me, what you can do inside the box these days is astonishing. Oh, that's pretty.
Got
I
my
do like that.
PRS,
PRS?
Paul Reed
Yeah.
Smith Custom 22 SE Custom 22.
Very nice. So you don't do everything in the box.
Not everything, but I haven't really played this in 3 years or so. It's I forgot you can't really. So it's almost, it's not really sunburst, but it's kind of a little bit.
Yeah, that is gorgeous, mate.
I was gonna I bought this in I think 2012, and I went to the music store. I had big dreams. I'm saying I'm gonna buy a guitar that costs like 1,500 euros, 1,500, and that's my like top dollar. And I went there and I tested around guitars. The guy kept bringing me like Fenders and kept bringing me ESPs and all sorts. And I was like, nothing really feels right. It was like an Ibanez, one of those. I don't remember the code, but he kept bringing me guitars, this and that, and let's just try this one and try this one. And it's like, no, these aren't for me. It was like, well, here's something with a profile that maybe fits you better. And he gave me that. I was like, oh, this is nice. And I kept playing with it, and I was like, damn, I don't know if I can afford this. I was like, how much is this guitar? It's like 700.
What?
It's like, sold. Wrap it up.
Oh, that's excellent. The universe obviously meant you to have that guitar.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, come on, you've got to dig it out. You've got to play that on some stuff this month, next month.
Oh yeah, I absolutely will. Because it's like I said, it's gonna be like spy themed type of stuff, like James Bond, or more like I don't know, a Michael Caine type of spy flick.
Harry Palmer.
Oh
Hit
yeah.
Crest File.
So you got your surf guitar and the one of the tracks. Like we have a couple of tracks ready already. That's the theme song for the game, and it's got that sort of what's that Elvis Costello's track? It's watching the
detectives.
Yeah, it's a very hard word for me to say. Watching the detectives. There you go.
That's it. Great track.
Yeah, but it's got that. It's got a little bit of that surf guitar, and I had to reinstall my analog lab because it has those same. It's not Farfisa, but is it like B5 or what is that organ they use?
Yeah, the Arturia collection, you get the Hammond B3.
Oh yeah, B3. So
which is rather splendid.
Oh, absolutely. But I had to reinstall that. I don't really like it because it's so heavy. Whenever you click it, you have to just like wait for like 5 seconds until you can get back to using your DAW. But yeah, the sound it's like spot on. They really nailed those sounds. So it's gonna be organ, it's gonna be that surf guitar, or it's gonna be a bunch of 70s type of drums from Addictive Drums too. I bought a bunch of those kits, so it's gonna be interesting. But that's like my only limitation, pretty much. The other limitation is that it's gotta be pretty slow, like around 100 or sub 100 BPM. But other than that, I'm just gonna test my limits. Whatever, anything goes.
Excellent. But I love the way you talked about framing the composition that you're doing in terms of the arrangement of saying, well, and that is like detectives. What does detectives say? Well, that says surf guitar to you. For like the Ipcrest file, the Harry Palmer, Michael Caine movie, had a soundtrack by one of my absolute heroes, the Governor, Mr. John Barry, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago. And movie music is just one of that. Movie music is my jam. And John Barry and Hans Zimmer and a whole bunch of other people, from Bernard Herrmann and oh crikey, what's his name? Korngold. Eric Korngold, or was it Cyril Korngold? I always get that mixed up. We've had this conversation on my stream, but all those composers, I love trying to emulate that feel, that vibe. And that's one of the reasons why I've got this thing, which you can't really see here, but there's a theremin tucked away in the distance there, because I can remember watching the original black and white Michael Rennie version of The Day the Earth Stood Still, not the appalling Keanu Reeves remake. The original version of Day the Earth Stood still has one of the best musical scores of all time, as far as I'm concerned. And it features a guy who was a podiatrist, a foot doctor, called Dr. Samuel Hoffman. And he'd made a living for himself in the 30s playing with big bands, backing them with a theremin. But he decided he was going to move to California and make his living in the movies, presumably looking after the feet of famous film stars. But when he moved out to California anyway, he signed up in the local musicians union as a violinist, as an arranger, and as a theremin player. And as luck would have it, about 3 weeks after he signed up with the local chapter of the Musicians Union, a film composer called Miklos Rocha was looking to score a piece of music for a film by a film director that he got quite in with. A fairly obscure guy called Alfred Hitchcock.
I think I've heard of it.
You've heard of it, okay. Hitchcock had this film called Lost Weekend, and Miklos Rocha basically wanted to convey the sound of madness. And so it was like, theremin. So it's funny that films have actually sort of got this language of particular instruments signify particular things, like surf guitars, detectives, or beach, or, well, it's surf guitar, the clue's in the name. But Sam Hoffman was the guy who single-handedly established the trend of spooky music in Hollywood movies as being played on the theremin, because it was always him playing it. He ended up playing on Captain Beefheart albums.
Oh, really?
What a career for a podiatrist.
No, but I was gonna say, like, how many guys are registered as the theremin players? There's like, another one.
Yeah. But I mean, there are some splendid theremin players out there now. If you're interested in the theremin, which is, you see adverts for them in the papers around here. For sale, theremin, never been touched. Sorry. Check on YouTube. There is a theremin player called Carolina Eyck, Eyck, and what she can do with a theremin is mind-blowing. So it's well worth checking her out on YouTube.
I gotta check that out. And you should link some John Barry stuff that you like. I'd be very much interested in.
Yeah, the Ip Crest file theme tune itself is played. I'm not sure if it's a cymbalom or a zither or a hammered, but if you've got a hammered dulcimer, you can do the Ip Crest file theme tune, and it's the one that goes down, da, down, da, and then the flutes come in with the da, 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 da.
Right.
And that's, it's just one of the best themes ever made, ever written. So why not, as a February album writing month challenge, pick a piece of film and then write some music for it? And out there in the chat, there is someone who is an absolute expert in doing that. That's Ryako Music, who scored her own version of the Fritz Lang movie Metropolis from start to finish. You can get Ryako Music's score for Metropolis on Ryako Music's Bandcamp page. Get yourself a copy, get yourself Metropolis on DVD, and play the two together. It's jaw-dropping. Quick plug. There you go.
But that's a good idea. Like, just and a good idea for a challenge. Just pick a scene from a movie, like throw the video file in your DAW, and just write a music for the scene. That's an excellent idea. Very good.
Give it a go. Let us know. Let us know how you get on.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to another song. This one is by Unpronounceable. It's called Do the Empathy.
You know what's better than therapy? Something that's free. You can get it from anybody. I'm talking about empathy. Do the empathy. Do the empathy. It's motherfucking free. Do the empathy. Feel your feels. Totally free. You can ask anybody. Do the empathy. Do the empathy. Do the empathy. I read this TikTok, no, I just listened. It said that Tylenol makes your empathy weaken. I don't know what to say about that, but I have empathy. If the pain's that high, you can take what you like. Take the Tylenol. Just lose your empathy. Empathy. It's totally free. Do the empathy. So what if we went to the doctor instead of the tongue depressor? Doc said do the empathy. Would you do the empathy? It's empathy. It's totally free. It's helping me. When you do the empathy. Do the empathy. Do the empathy. Always try to do the empathy. 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 It takes energy, so maybe we just all need a nap. I need a nap. And Tylenol. Fuck empathy. I'm tired.
Do the Empathy by Unpronounceable. Very interesting electronic track. It's like two different things going on in layers.
Yeah. Because Dragon Dreams in the chat was saying, this is disturbing in a good way. It's forcing me to listen to work out what's happening in the layers. It's kind of unsettling, but it's also, it just draws you in. I really, I must have listened to that at least a dozen times since she posted that on 5090 last summer. Yeah, really like that. So lots more people piling in the chat. Hello to Sorby69. Hello.
Oh, there you go. People really want this FAWM content. They're just excited to get songwriting. What else is going on during FAWM? Like there are the usual Tuesday Zoom meets, and then there's
There are indeed. There are already a number of challenges that have been laid down. There is the ocarina challenge. You have to make a piece of music with an ocarina. There is the stylophone challenge, where you have to make a piece of music with a Dubrek stylophone if you have such a piece of kit at your disposal. Strangely enough,
Oh, there he goes.
If you're wondering what the hell's a stylophone, it's one of these. Do you remember these? As played by a certain Mr. David Bowie during Space Oddity and on a number of other tracks. It has a line out, so you can even plug it directly into your desk and get an even higher quality audio rendition of something that does sound rather disturbingly like a bee trapped in a jam jar.
Oh, that's a sales pitch I've ever heard one. Well, yeah, we're gonna check out what else is going on, but I think this is going to rather swellingly. We didn't have any hitches, so I think we're gonna do more of these. What do you say?
Yeah, but if you go to the homepage of February Album Writing Month, once February Album Writing Month is underway, when you drop into the website, it will tell you what's happening in terms of reaction to your stuff and when you've been mentioned in the forums and something like that. But our good friend Nancy Rost and some of her colleagues, Darcy's in the chat. Hello, Darcy. Post challenges every week in February Album Writing Month, and those are always fun. And you tag your entries in each of the challenges with a hashtag Ocarina Challenge, hashtag Movie Challenge, hashtag whatever the challenge is for week one, or literally just hashtag week one challenge. But tagging things is something that I'd like to just prep you all to make sure that you do a lot of it, because tagging your song helps people who maybe are interested in listening to particular genres to find your stuff. So if you do an EDM track, then do it hashtag EDM. There is a tags field when you post a new song on the February Album Writing Month website. You can't do that at the moment because the site has not gone live for submitting songs. But once the site has gone live for submitting songs, there will be a add a new song button and a big plus sign. And you click on that and it opens a page and you supply the URL of the song that you've hosted somewhere so people can listen to it and the site will link to it. Highly recommend donating $25, which will enable file hosting on the FAWM website itself, where it all works seamlessly, with one minor proviso, that if, like Juha did a couple of years ago, you write your first song of the challenge that ends up being a 27-minute prog rock extravaganza that would take up half an album on an LP, you're limited in file size. So if your file is an MP3, but it's more than 10 megabytes, you may, now we're on a different provider this year, so that may have changed, but every year in the forums, you will get people going, I've got this MP3 file and it's just not uploading, and what's going on and why is it broken? And it's usually because the file is more than 10 megabytes in size, which is more than the site hosting can handle. But aside from putting the URL of the file so that people can go and listen to it, put tags in. Tell us what it is and have fun with the tags. There is a compatriot of Juha's who posts the most amazing metal every year. And I can always find his stuff because he's the only person on FAWM who uses the hashtag bacon. So have fun with it. But yeah, tagging will bring listeners to you, and listeners is what you want on FAWM. You want people hearing your stuff. You want people giving you feedback.
Yes.
And to that end, just one more thing. The other thing about FAWM is that please don't wait for February Album Writing Month to come to you. Get out there and start listening to other people's stuff.
Absolutely.
Get out there and start leaving comments on other people's. Leave hello excited messages on their soundboards, which are the little message boards underneath their profile. Because it's the social aspect of it that is so important. That's where the buzz is. That's where the fun is. That's where your development as a musician is because the people who know you will come back and go, Chris, did you know that your bass guitar is a semitone out of tune all the way through the bridge in that track? And you go, oh, of course it is. And you can go around, you can go back and fix it. Whereas if you've not been making a complete idiot of yourself on the forums, go, hello, all over the place, then people are less likely to go, who? So, yeah, get out there, comment. Listen. And demonstrate that you've actually listened to each track and gone, I really like that, rather than just thanks for sharing or whatever. How did that song make you feel? What was cool about that song? What was the hook for you that really got you going? I'm humming that song I listened to 10 minutes ago. That's what people as songwriters need to know. Yeah. So tell them.
That is absolutely right. Yeah,
Ranto. Sorry.
I absolutely agree. Like, you can write songs any time of the year, and I can go like at I don't know, let's say April, and start writing songs, but I don't do it because it's missing something. And what it is missing, it is really missing the community. Like, you write something and you want to go, hey, look everybody, I made this thing, and then people actually listen to it and go like, oh, you really did make that. Yeah. But if you don't have that, then it's just like, why bother?
Yeah, it's that endorphin kick, knowing that at least 4 people listened to that thing you spent an entire day sweating blood making.
Yeah, but you gotta remember that if you expect everybody else to listen to your stuff, then remember to just flip that around and go listen to other people's stuff. Go give them the same courtesy and be one of those guys who gives those people one of those good feelings to know that somebody listens to their music.
And so, rule of thumb, you can count up how. I mean, you may have to use a calculator. It depends how many comments you get, but you can count up the number of comments that you have got on all your songs. And the FAWM website will also count when you sign in on the, like I was saying, on the landing page. One of the things it does, it says how many FAWM forum comments you've left, how many times you've been mentioned, and how many comments you've left on other people's songs. So if you can keep the number that says how many comments that you've left on other people's songs as bigger than the total number of comments that you've had on your songs, then you're doing it right.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, well, this has been a blast. Thank you, Chris, for joining me, and hopefully we'll be doing another one of these, at least one, but hopefully.
Yeah, when well, shall we set a date? Shall we say when we're going to do this again? Shall we be daring? Shall we commit?
Exciting. Well, of course, you all have Thursday to look forward to when Chris is doing his own stream on Twitch.
Yes, so I will be on Twitch, Headfirst Only at Twitch. If you just search there, you can find me. And that's on Thursdays at 19:30. And I'm also doing the Is It FAWM Yet show on Sunday nights at 19:30 UTC, 19:30 GMT, 11:30 Pacific on Sunday nights. The Is It FAWM Yet show. Spoilers. On Sunday's show, I will be saying, yes, it is. Because it will be. So I hope you can tune in then. But other than that, when should we do this?
Well, we got Tuesday,
when's a good time for you?
Wednesday. Well, it's Tuesday. I don't know. I could do pretty much anything. So I would say we're gonna pick some date. Maybe Wednesday.
Okay.
So let's do a Wednesday on the same bad time, same bad channel, right?
Exactly, as Desmond Doomsday himself would say.
So Wednesday it is, and
same bad time, same bad channel. Okay, let's do it. So day after tomorrow.
Yes.
So you'll all have got at least one song written under your belt and uploaded on the FAWM website, and we'll all be listening to them.
Yeah, we're going to be going through some FAWMers songs, and we'll be playing them in the FAWMtalk stream, as we have been playing your last year's song here today. And we have one more song here for you to end the cast. And
a splendid bit of organisation that was. Almost like we planned it.
Well, some things work out better than others. But
They
this
do.
one is by T.C. Eliot and Blue One, a song called
See you,
Vertigo.
folks.
So, catch you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.